Hello, this is Brenda Bates, Medicine Woman, and this is Medicine Women Reveal. And we have started a new show called FYI Interviews. This is information that is going to be helpful because you may already know about this stuff, but we are defining and redefining what things are of the past. There's great new meaning that has been hidden or stored away. There is a lot of information out there that people are actually diving deep inside themselves and discovering there's a lot of things that they can do and become, and they're thrilled. So they're learning to live out loud. And we have with us today is Jeanette Arnold. And we're going to find out if she is on board. So let's click and see if this is her. And area code 267. What is your name?
Hello, my name is Crystal.
Hi, Crystal. We will be with you in just a few minutes. We were looking for our guest speaker. If she doesn't show up in a few minutes, would you like a reading?
Yes, please.
Okay, so just give us a few minutes and we'll see what happens, all right?
Thank you.
Okay, so again, we had kind of a little bit of communication problems, and hopefully, because she is an hour difference, you know, there's always that time zone difference. And then we're going to have to readjust because this weekend is, what do you call it, Jen? Fall back?
Daylight savings.
Yes, that's what it's called, daylight savings. So hopefully she'll be able to be on with the show. And if not, we will do what we normally do, and that's talk and give readings. So while we're waiting for her to connect with us, then I would really like to have Jen just go ahead and click for the area code.
267.
And Crystal, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. You want just a general reading, or did you have questions?
I just had, I'll go with the general reading.
Okay, dear. Alrighty.
And this is Jen Tuffle, Medicine Women.
Oh, I am
too.
totally sorry. Yes.
In case you wonder.
Yes, Jen Toffel, Medicine Woman, she is with me too. Alright, so as far as the general reading, I'm supposed to let Jen go first. That is alright, because I can't get anything yet until you spark.
All right. Okay, so there is a release that needs to occur. They're saying that your passion needs to be reignited about something specific, and the fairies and earth magic and the earth elementals, connecting with the earth, is what will help you do this release to ignite this passion. And so it's about, so the shape-shifting card came up, and that's about the ability to, well, if maybe you, what we call morph into what people expect you to be, or you haven't done that yet. So on either side. So do you feel like you change into what people expect you to be?
No, I feel like I try to please people, but just you can't please everybody.
Yeah, that's about the same thing, to some degree. In our definition, one of the things is that, well, before I get to that definition, the energy that I'm picking up is that you were told a long time ago that you had to give up your dreams, and you kind of were, it's what they call the bully energy. And as this energy came through, it kind of told you that, I want you to go in this direction, or you'd be really good in this direction. And you weren't able to dream the dream that your soul wanted you to do. And so what ended up happening is you started going down the path that, you know, is right, and it's good for you. It's going to produce money. It's going to supposedly make you happy. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when we talk about how morphing, it is when you're in their presence, somehow you end up pleasing too much. You register, you know how it works, and you know what they need, and you kind of get lost in that dream, lost into pleasing too much, lost into doing it, that it causes you to, that's your identity. And your soul wants you to understand that it's time to dream. So it is, yes, we want you to release the energy that there was. So about 1 year old, you've learned that I need to help and please. And so now I've got to figure out why. And they said that about 1 year old, you were frightfully overjoyed. which means that your body went into a stress response to figure out how to survive in that moment. And it could be just as simple as feeling your mother turn her back when she's doing cooking and washing the dishes, and you're like, oh, so crying didn't work for you, so by making her smile is what made you feel like you were loved. So there's a time that you just, that's what I'm going to do. So when you don't see people smiling, you do your best to make them smile. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Do you also come from a tradition of religion that guilt and shame is the number one way to get you to do things?
I've always responded to, I'd say yeah, that's true.
Okay, because some religions are very much stand out. You watched the show The Nanny with, okay, well what happened is that most of the time when they wanted the kids to behave, they went into the guilt because that was part of the religion, that's what we do. And well, in this era, your soul already knows that it doesn't want to do that anymore. It's done. It can't go forward. It doesn't want to. So it makes it a very difficult, to some degree, to be yourself when you're carrying these old patterns. Jen, you drew something?
So I drew a card about, so what is it, what is an important message that you need to hear? So I got the Wise Woman of Wonderland. And as an ally, she brings integrity to thought, word, and deed. She lets you know that as long as you're in the flow of honesty and being true to your word, she keeps you under her protection and care. When she appears as your ally, she signals a time when honesty pays off, yielding greater dividends than you expected. You'll be thankful that you remained faithful and loyal to your path. She reminds you that compromise isn't always an option. Stay true to yourself first and foremost. Although it may appear that you could lose something as a result, you can never lose what is truly yours.
Okay, so we don't just give readings, we also give healing tools. So it helps us, your brain that creates your reality every day, that helps disrupt those old signals so that those patterns don't need to show up. Your hells don't have to repeat. And as I was asking how do we help this person, they said, well, there's several different things, because her body, in order to survive and live in the environment, you had to go into shock that what you did is not correct. Now, all you did was probably cry, being that you're 1 year old. So you probably didn't do anything. Most usually kids don't do anything, and it's just these patterns that people have. So there's a part of you that gets shock. Now, what they're asking me is, did you just have a shock recently that kind of shocked you and surprised you that people would treat you this way, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So now I've got to ask: is this just something new? No. Okay. So your soul had brought this information up so that you could address it, and this shock is actually a fresh experience, which will really help release the shock that you had when you were 1 year old, and it goes back to reinforcing a decision. So when you were shocked, did you hear words come out of your mouth like, "I knew that was going to happen. I should just stick with," Did you catch yourself saying any of these type of words?
I've been getting it at all different angles, so I feel like I'm just tired, like numb to it.
Okay, yeah, because it's the, hold on. Okay, so it is, well, it's kind of like what happened to you at 1. Everything come at all angles. It was just like so many, I just hear yelling and arguing. So do you have a lot of brothers and sisters, or do you have none?
I have 2 brothers.
Were they older?
One younger, one older.
Okay, because they got me going back to when you're about 1 year old, and there seems like a lot of chaos sound.
So was there a lot of family, like aunts and uncles around, or
that's
cousins?
Yeah, with my dad's family, yeah.
Okay, so a large family, because that's what I
was
see.
hearing.
It's like a family function, like at the holidays, or maybe you had weekend dinners together as a family, depending on what your tradition is and that kind of thing. And so everybody, it would make sense that everybody's got an opinion on how to raise a kid.
So here's a question for you. Were you the type of kid, oh, go give your aunt a kiss, oh, go do this, and oh, she never listens. There's just all this pushing you into doing things that you didn't really want to do. Okay, because they're showing me this mass confusion, and so Jen helped me explain what I was seeing. And then there's always this, oh, you got to do this, and you're a good little obeyer, you know, as far as being a great kid.
Because you want
good manners.
Because that's one way to get the love is to follow directions.
And now I feel like you had such a shock, and they're just giving me a numb feeling. They're not giving me anything else, but it's just like too much information is now coming in all at once. Just like, you know, the phone's ringing, someone's knocking at the door, there's people screaming, the kids are going nuts. You know, there's just too much going on, and your body is like, Calgon, take me away. And at this point, okay, so the shock. To heal the shock, I'm going to have you, now just write this down. It's R is in right, and 3 is the number 3, and S is in soft. We'll tell you where to go to get the healing tool. But R3S is the code. And that's going to be you can't figure it out, you're in shock, you're muddled in your thinking. When people talk, everything seems to be unstable sometimes, the thinking, the emotions, and your environment. Even if your environment seems calm, inside you may be, oh my God. So we need to get that calm. So now I'm asking if she put on the scale from 0 to 10, give it a color, and brings it down. Then what happens next? Then there's all this grief. So they're actually showing me a pattern. You had the moment of shock, and then you calm down a little bit, but then you went into grief. And you would register by watching everybody else's grief. As soon as you saw someone have grief, you had to turn around and do the right thing. You had to do the thing they wanted. It may not be right for you, but it had to be the right thing for them. And they said that seems to be huge, because as soon as you get that grief, then you go into an alarm, and then you go back to keep checking. Okay, I gotta do this, so they'll, okay, oh, the grief's over, okay, good. But you find out that you're a pleaser. Okay, so now I gotta figure, where do you want her to hold knowing this? Okay, so R1D. R is right wrist, 1 is the number 1, and D is in deep, as you're going to push your thumb in deep.
So if you can make a note of that.
R is in what?
R is in right, 1 is in number 1, and D is in deep. Again, we'll tell you where to go.
Right,
for the
so you
healing
want to
tools.
make a note of that, or write that down. Just write down R1D, and then we'll tell you how that makes sense in this.
Okay. Now, these seem to be the two main things that come up that seems to be throwing you to stay in that state. Now, the reason you're in that state, not only is it shock, but it is a way for you to escape. It's like, no, I don't want to please you anymore. You can't say those words, but when you go into this frenzy, it gives you like that extra strength to the point where you're going to crack, or you need to be sick, or something needs to happen. So no will come up. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I just want to reinforce your soul that when you really heal these things, it's not that you're going to have to become more of a pleaser. That'll do the opposite. It'll actually change the attraction factor, the energy that says you have to do this every day. You'll actually change it. And Jen, tell her more where she should go for the healing tools.
Okay, so our healing tools are located on our website, which is www.mwreveal.com. It's as in Medicine Women Reveal, but it's mwreveal.com. On the home page, on the left-hand side, you'll see a menu with a whole bunch of options. And when you go, you'll see healing tools. So find healing tools, and then another little menu will pop open, and you'll go to Hope Therapy. So you go to our website, Healing Tools, Hope Therapy, watch the video, read the directions, get familiar with just like what the concept is of Hope Therapy, and then that code that we gave you of R1D will make sense to you. And then you go through the process following the directions of healing that out, focusing on what Brenda was talking about.
Because I can explain it on the air, but I just watch the video. Make sure you all know how it feels on the scale from 0 to 10. Get that familiarity. So the first thing you can do is you're going to work with R3S, and you're going to get through that. You're going to, your self-talk, oh my God, getting through this, because we have to help you calm that triple warmer down. We got to help you calm down that stress mode. Bring it down to 0 to white, you know, and I really feel that you've really had a bad shock. So you may have to do that a couple times. Don't force yourself to do it all at once. But do know that when it starts to feel like it's kicking back up, immediately go back to R3S. And when you're, and you know how you put your hair behind your ears, you grab your hair and you kind of just slide it behind your ears? I want you to do that. Just take, and that, the triple warmer runs behind the ears, and if you can just kind of put your hair behind your ears and do that on both sides, just ever so slightly, and do it a few times. This actually helps calm the triple warmer down so that you won't have to stay in that flight mode. And once you start to bring that down, to keep it down to 0, then go over to R1D, because that is about grief. It can be sadness, it can be yearning, cloudy thinking, or anguish. It just seems to be chronic. It seems like to be happening all the time. But just kind of keep doing that. You probably have to call back into the show. We do a Monday show and a Wednesday show on Blog Talk, and then a Monday night and a Friday on another evening. Well, yes, on Sepia NC.com radio. But
could I ask if you could pull one card as regards to my relationship right now?
Okay,
I
so
don't know if it's me,
okay.
or if it's.
So you're in a relationship right now. We're asking you to focus on that person. As you do so, I want you to also feel the question that seems to be relevant of how you know about it. And as that happens, is there control issues in the relationship with either with you or this person?
I wouldn't so much say control. I wouldn't say control, no.
Okay, the control issue they're referring to is that there's always this, you can't let it just unfold naturally. There's got to be always a shove and push, push it in this direction. Kind of like guilt and shame and manipulation that falls along with it. This type of control is that you got to constantly obey and watch it and focus, and it's not really about obsession so much, but it is, I got to take care of this. I got to make sure that it's, so you're focusing. That's what I'm referring to. Jen drew 2 cards as well.
So a new kind of communion between you would need to be established, and I got the vigilance. So someone in the relationship or both are being vigilant, and there needs to be a natural communion between both of you, and so that would be something to hear.
Are you the one that's always seems to do the reconciling? You're the one that always hands the olive branch out. You're the first one that always solves it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's another form of control, because you have to make it right. You may have to make it correct. But what's happening is that this relationship it's good, but there's some baggage, and the baggage that they're referring to happens to be this. Well, it goes into that shock. So was this shock? Was it designated around this relationship?
There's a partial part of that. I mean, it's gone from being to a not-committed relationship for a long time, and now commitment. So I mean, that was a shock, a good shock, that he turned around a lot and decided and stepped up in a lot of different ways. But then I had a lot of different other shocks being thrown at me. Financial and all that.
Is there a part of you that's not even sure if you want this relationship? I mean, you've talked yourself into it to some degree. You're thinking, oh yeah, that's possible. But if you were to really dig deep, make sure you're doing it right for the right reasons. So here's the question. Do you really feel that this is the one?
I do in a lot of ways. I really do. I always have. I don't know if I'm clouding that right now just because of things. There is arguments right now. I have a child, so there's disagreements with that. That's nothing easy.
Okay, so in order to make sure this relationship can have more of a fair chance of what's going on, there's a lot of things that you're going through. They're telling me that you're in the middle of the storm. You're at the calm point, but everything around you is chaos, and you want to do the right thing for, everybody around you, but at the same time, it's also should I do this or not do this? Should I do this or not do this? And so you're in an indecisive mode, and you know, I would tell you to do the shock or heal the shock, R3S, but since I feel that decisive mode, I want you to hold L2S. Left wrist, second position, and soft. L2S, and the reason why is because there's a part of you that's kind of spinning out, and it's there's a lot of emotions that you had to repress as a child that wants to come to the surface. It could lead to depression if you didn't take care of it. You know, there's this indecisiveness, this stuff that's going on in your head, and that's where I would tell you to do L2S, because right now, as we're looking at the cards about this relationship, and you have 41 thoughts per minute, just like everybody on the planet, and so I'm trying to land on one particular what your decision would be with this person, and they say you can't really, you said yes, but there is all of this stuff going on that you have to sort out. So the healing tool will help you process this out. And I'm just told we'll give you one more card and we'll see what happens. And the card, Jen, we're using the deck by Colette Baron Reed. It's the Chanted Map, and it's number 40, reverse, called Follow the Leader.
Reverse, the Follow the Leader card offers a gentle push to get up and take the lead. In a relationship or partnership, be the one to voice what must be said. Muster your courage and speak your needs aloud. Affirm what you like and what you feel. Don't just hope for someone else to fix the problems you see. If your inquiry is about a career or project, you must take the initiative to draw up a proper plan. If it's about a personal relationship, you must be clear about your intentions and desires. Boldly begin a discussion about how things really are and how to make the situation work for the highest good of all. Do this as soon as possible. You may be pleasantly surprised by the results.
Okay, so hopefully that this has helped you to some degree to understand what's going on in your space right now. Listen to the archives again and pay attention to it. Do the healing, because this will help you bring the blood back up to the forebrain, to help you to relax, to help you resolve and go through all of these things that are going on in your mind and in your space. And it helps you sort it out and process it out to actually to the greater good of who you are.
There's also, in our healing tools, there's a tool called Thought Management. And I would recommend that, especially since you came from a large family. There may be, when you're doing certain things, you hear certain voices from the past or even the present. And what the thought management tool doesn't do anything bad to the person. What it does is it releases them from your thoughts. It releases them from how you're creating things so that your voice gets to be heard in the situations.
Okay, does that make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, remember, please look at the healing tools. You know, remember where to go?
Yes, I really do.
All right,
Great.
all right. Happy healing, and please stay in contact with us. And subscribe so that you know when our shows are. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
And
Okay, we've got Jeanette on the line.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so I've got an introduction that I'm going to read, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay. So Jeanette Arnold is a hereditary witch and has been active on her soul awakening. All her life, she's been a witch.
Hedge witch.
Hedge witch.
Yeah.
Back before she met Steph in the coven, she was stagnant in many areas in her abilities due to a lot of trauma. And one of those is that she lost her familiar, a cat named Midnight. She has had these gifts all her life, and it unlocked with her at 18, and she was basically on the streets at that time. She had an all-at-once Kundalini experience that's helped her with understanding what this all means. And what she went through, mind you, was painful and affected her in a deep way mentally and spiritually. She's had a couple of Reiki masters help her with understanding what it was she went through. As a young child, she had experiences of precognition, meaning she could see things happen beforehand. She had a deep sense of events happening in spaces beyond what most people could see. She blocked a lot of it with drug addiction and alcoholism, and she's been sober for almost 19 years now.
Good job.
She is a sentient and has been through many ascensions in the last 3 years. The term Wayseer is a basic way she puts it, and indigo is another term. She feels there are many people who do not believe nor want to understand all of this. Crystal being is another term or definition of her birth and astrological timing. The crystal beings were born from 1972 to 1974. She has had help from resources and guided by her instinct as to what she sensed to be more accurate. She has never claimed it was her own information, but has helped in putting it into legit terms what her abilities are. As far as sharing her gifts, Jeanette has met people who don't believe in her gifts and abilities. She explains to them that she doesn't impose her beliefs onto them and asks for the same respect. She will not share anything with them if they aren't open-minded, and therefore the conversations are usually kept to a minimum with these people. There are a few people who have gotten to know in depth the degree of her intuitive nature, and she's also realized this has scared a few people. She has had others gossip and slander her to others by spreading around her neighborhood and to previous employers that she performed bad magic. To the contrary, she has never done any such thing. She uses pure intent, and since she's joined the coven, she has grown from self-healing rites and self-observant high magic rites. This was accomplished without any casting or much effort. She's been a tarotist for 17 years. Her channel base has been with dragons. Prior to working with Dragon Tarot, she worked with Nordic runes. This was easy for her, and she then moved on to other modalities rather quickly. She moved from readings to spellcasting. She uses the sigils for magic purpose and only for healthy and positive results. She uses many different tarot decks and methods of interpretation, which we will ask her about shortly. She does live channeling, but will also use cards. The deck she works with now and has chosen as her active deck to use is Tarot de Draco. She is a star-sighted individual. Reading comes naturally to her. And as far as the coven, they are all highly developed spiritual ancestors, human spirit guides in human bodies, and they live just as everyone else does. They have abilities of sense and sight considered to be the sentient correspondences that have been defined in extrasensory perceptive categories. Nothing is negative about the coven, as it is of good, pure intent. They heal and protect others. They are an eclectic coven, which means they invite all. It is a multi-faith based, and they do not deny entrance. If someone acts against the intention of the coven, they will seek out proof and then ask them to leave or whatever needs to be done. Since her rebirth, she has had gifts that she's embraced with goals in mind to help others, no matter what. Magus and Dragon Soul together, we are awakening. It's been a long journey, and they are far from tired. Learning to teach has been a goal that she's currently achieving. She's accepted a path, more or less, traveled with dracomancy. She also...
Dracomancy.
Thank you.
I hope you're welcome.
Okay. She admins and manages with many groups and with an international coven as well named. Would you like to share the name of that international coven?
It's Requiem of Dragon Time.
Okay. All right, and she considers herself a polytheist, and we will get to that definition in just a moment. And as far as also what the definition of a hedge witch and what it means to be covenized. We'll get to her definitions of those.
Well, we appreciate you being here. So one thing is that...
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, we really believe that people have a lot of information, and the norm is changing. We don't have to stay hidden anymore. And it is really about learning to work with each other. So my question is that you said that you had a Kundalini experience. A lot of people don't even know what a Kundalini is.
A lot of people don't even, there's been a few people that don't even believe that the Kundalini and the chakra systems even exist in all of us, and they really do.
Yes,
yes.
And it's an energy system.
There's different levels of spiritual body.
Okay, so as
the
yours...
Kundalini happens to be the flow.
Okay, and so as the flow happened, could you kind of explain how you know the flow of the Kundalini, so that if other people I know have had Kundalini experiences, but they never knew until years later that what they were feeling and going through was the Kundalini experience. Can you remember yours?
Oh, yeah, like it was yesterday.
Okay, good, great.
I can tell you right now, it
Yes.
was the most uncomfortable experience I ever had in my life, and it was like I had been spiritually shot in the soul, in the soul center of my solar. I
Okay.
had a big hole, and I walked around feeling that way for quite a few months.
Okay.
It was an unbelievable walk, and I think that's probably what it really affected me mentally and had me going. Basically, I was diagnosed schizoaffective after I had gone through that, and I was trying to recover from it. And this is in a matter of maybe a month and a half, 2 months.
Okay.
Many Native Americans resort to this or use this termination as the spiritual walk, or the
Okay.
great walk.
All right.
Normally, it's guided by a tribal shaman.
All right.
Because it's an opening of spirit, and it's an understanding that you are having more than just an experience. You are going for the calling from the Great Spirit. That's the way I put it.
Okay. So when you were.
When I believe that also I've been looking it up, and I've also had other people explain to me that a cherubim is one that actually makes it accessible for you to have that open. So evidently I found acceptance.
Okay.
And I believe, I more than believe, I know everything in them categories exists. I've had interactions, I've experienced it, I haven't seen any of it, but when you hear and you experience the sensations of different beings, you kind of get used to it.
Okay. So there's your
I
feeling.
was Stacy.
I'm sorry, what?
I felt as if I had an inner part of my top of my lobe had been removed in a way.
Okay.
I kind of felt like I couldn't think. There was no thought process. I was like wide open, and all I knew is I felt like a shoot of a spiritual energy going up and coming down and going up and coming down, and I wasn't uncomfortable.
Okay. You felt
But
safe?
It was something I had to really adjust to.
Right. Did you feel safe?
Oh yeah, I felt safe.
Well, because see, a lot of people go
Of
through
course I felt
experiences.
safe.
Well, there's a lot of people that
I
go
shaked
through.
for a while. I will tell you this: when I have the all at once opening, it also opens up and emerges your inner spirit to awaken and show up for you.
Okay.
I remember this specifically like it was yesterday. I walked out of a restroom in a public restroom downtown St. Paul, Minnesota. I was walking through the mall area and walked past a priest who was reading a Bible after this experience took place. And when I walked past him, he held the Bible to his chest, fell back in his chair, looked like he'd seen Lucifer itself. It's kind of like, I don't know what spirit he saw, maybe my dragon that had emerged from within me. When I opened up, it was unannounced. Of course, it always, with the all at once Kundalini, it's always been an unannounced, forewarned event.
Okay.
It's just something that's happened.
Because a lot of people are afraid
They
of that
say that
energy.
Reiki is nothing. Reiki and when it comes down to spirit and the chakra system and all at once is very, 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 very dangerous. It can literally kill a person
Yes.
because it can drive them literally insane to the point where they end up ending their own lives. Well, I walked through it and I came out a champ.
Okay. Are you open to taking a question? Somebody in the chat room seems to have a distressed. And,
Oh yeah.
We have
Okay.
a question before that, too.
Okay. So we have a couple questions, and
And the caller.
so how about Jen? We go in the order, and so the first person
So-
you said was
It was actually the caller, and then there
Okay.
are people in the chat room that we will honor.
okay. So the first one in order, it happens to be area code 832. You're on the air with Jeanette,
And
Brenda, and Jen. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Would you like a reading, dear?
Yes, I would.
Okay. So
Okay.
Jeanette, would you do a reading?
And I will do my best to answer a question if it's a good, specific answer you need. Yes.
Okay, so do you have a question?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it's concerning my spiritual past,
Okay.
and because I've been going through a lot of spiritual growth, and I've just kind of been wondering about it because it's not having me feeling good, and I don't know really what's going on in my life.
Oh. Kind of tell me a little bit about the symptoms as Jeanette starts to get what she needs. So do you have symptoms? You said, yeah.
Yes, I do. I've been having bad headaches. I have hot flashes. I have mood swings.
Honey, I say you're going through menopause. How old are you, sweetie?
I'm 54.
Yeah, you're going through menopause. One thing I can suggest to you, search out some herbs and natural ingredients to help you combat that. I will tell you that the one major cause of all that stuff is that it's an uneven, I can't even talk now, an uneven chemical distribution in our bodies, and I've been going through that for 6 years.
Oh.
Believe it or not, I started mine young. But what's helped me personally, and that's not for everybody, is I've taken Jisana, and I've also taken a few other things to help me because of the flow of cause my circulation's a terrible with that too, and that causes headaches.
Okay.
If you have a regular physician you'd see, go on, does it rub with your instincts right?
No.
You know, look it up.
Okay.
All right. Let me.
Okay,
I
Colin.
do know that what's really good for headaches is rosemary.
Rosemary?
Especially in a tea. And cooling yourself down, heck, I just call them power surges. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Colin.
Because it's,
All right. What we're going to talk
Fire,
about
but-
real quick is there is a few other things that we have that we also do, and on our website we have a healing tool, and it's under hormone balancing, and the video I haven't got up yet, but the little sheet of paper explains that we have 3 spots on our head: the very top, the round part, and the back of the part. And you have a hairline. If you touch your hairline and you start at the back of the point of the head, which is the hypothalamus point, and that controls the triple warmer and the adrenaline and the hormones and the fight-flight. So if you hold your hairline in that point, you can do it singly in just about 2 minutes. You're going to move up to the back of the head, which is the round point, which is the pituitary, and you hold that point. You will feel the difference. You'll start feeling everything shift. Then you do the last point on top of the head, which is the pineal gland. Again, you're holding the hairline and those points. You can do them all at once as a rooster crow, where you put your hands palm, the start on your forehead and the palm on the back of the head, and you wrap them around until your fingers touch, and you hold that. You can do those around 2 minutes. What happens is that all the energies and the meridians all start to balance, and your blood starts to flow a little bit more better. Now, as far as why is this occurring now, even though you may just call it menopause, there's a little bit more that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's an awkwardness that happens to be going on in this space. So what is the awkwardness? According to this, it is that you have been unable to dream about what you want for your future. You know, this is who I'd like to be, this is what I want to become. And a lot of times that menopause is all group conscious related because it's about the shift. You did not do what you wanted to do or intended to do on this planet, and you're doing what you're supposed to. Get a job, go do this, go do that, but there's more to what you want to do. So have you had a point where you were awakening to moving forward in, doing what you like?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm kind of stuck on that part right there because I feel like I should be doing something, but I don't know what it is that I need to be doing. So
Okay.
I feel like I'm kind of stuck on that part.
All right, so we're going to grab some cards real quick on that. But the hormones are because each of the chakras or each of the hormones in your body are all related in keeping the body healthy and strong. And when there's a disrupt, that means the signal is that consciously something's happening. In this case, it's going to feeling awkward. So have you just had an awkward experience just lately?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay, so you might be the type that has learned to conquer and overcome that awkward feeling of being in situations. Like, is it comfortable for like you talking on the radio today?
Yes, it's comfortable today.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
All right, now, so kind of imagine that throughout the day, has there anything where you have to constantly do something? Sometimes even just going to work is an awkward state. Okay? That they're saying that as far as the awkwardness, and I'm just looking for other things that they're saying, is that there's a form of distrust. It's like a truth to you that you know that there's distrust, and you have to distrust people all the time, and it creates an awkwardness of not wanting to bond. But you're supposed to go outside the house and join, like, find some peeps, some people that you like, some people that like you. Don't just go out and join something and then have to adapt to that situation. You're just going to keep causing yourself to have problems. Deliberately go find somebody or some people that actually are like-minded. Exactly.
Yes,
So
I do.
you can, I would say, use the golden lasso healing tool that we have on our page as well. But your soul is trying to shove your ass out the door into doing something that it wants to, because if you've already been here 54 years and you haven't been able to live the life you want, it's trying to tell you to do it now. Okay, and it's not about luxury, it's about finding that happiness and joy, and there's a purpose. And even if it's just to hold someone's hand, you know, to give comfort, it's time for you to move forward. That is what they're saying. Jen drew 2 cards.
So is there a situation where you feel like you're being called to forgive? The angels are saying be willing to forgive, and that it's time to cancel, clear, and delete the situation if you've been harboring anything.
I think she has to forgive herself for, you know, making certain choices, not allowing herself to have opportunities. Oh, it just switched. She wants the opportunities, but somehow she was told to bow out. So have other people been directing you in your life?
Yes, they are.
Okay, that would explain it. So you have, one thing you definitely need to have closure, or, because we don't want you just to conquer, is that you're being directed, and you have to consider the source. And Jen, what do I mean by that?
So the people who have been telling you what to do, what is your authority? Your authority is your own higher self, the Christ consciousness, the soul that lives within you, and the higher power that you answer to. Those are the 2 sources to listen to. Anybody else is just chit-chat, chitty-chitty chat-chat.
It's their beliefs, it's it's what they follow, it's their roadmap. And, you know, so just because you wore red that day and that person hates red. Are you serious? Did you wear red? Oh my God, you shouldn't have done that. You know, it's like, it sounds like they have authority to some degree, and you're like,
Just
oh my God,
because
what did I
they're
do?
loud.
Yes, I mean,
I'll put it this way, when I'm wearing red, then I see starting to add some brick red and some pink and some magenta to it and say, screw you. You need to do for yourself, honey, what you feel is right, what helps you, what benefits you. Nobody else is going to benefit in your body.
okay, you're
Only
learning really well at self-directing, but now you need to self-direct yourself to do more for yourself, okay?
Okay.
All right, do you have any other questions, or are you good?
Can I put a little bit in there?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yes.
I think this may, if some of it's repeated or seems similar, just go past it, but you know what I'm getting at. You seem like you have a lot of self-doubt. That's coming
Yes, I
across
do.
to me a lot. Dear, don't doubt yourself. You are the strongest being you got. Everybody else that's telling you do this, do that. Nobody knows you like you do. Okay? The insecurity you got to stop doubting what you decide to do. When you know you need to do something, you need to say, screw it, I got to get this done, I got to do it. Don't ask others, do you think I should do this, do that? They're not there to help you deal with the situations you deal with. On different levels, we all have areas we work on. Okay? One area, for instance, let's say, okay, what can I do to, for instance, with you? What can I do to better help myself be a more strong-based decision maker? Okay, you sit down and you think of a good affirmation for yourself, because you know the weaknesses, you know the goals you need to work on for yourself and for your personality, your surroundings, the people you need to reach out to, what they're saying. And I see that cards, and I also understand exactly what both their readings were saying. When I had stepped out of my comfort zone and start spreading out there, start talking to everybody, oh yeah, it was scary as heck. Be it was online, but still, I started doing that all here in my regular life, and the difference it made was out of this world spectacular. You just got to do it, because it'll help you grow from within throughout, and that's what you want to do, and that's what your calling is to do.
Okay.
Okay, caller,
Does
so
that make sense to you?
you've got a lot of
Yeah.
options for yourself right now to use.
Just listen to the archives and you'll be good. Well, the Blog Talk has them up immediately after the show, and we do YouTubes as well. All right, thank you, caller.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, the next one.
Bye-bye.
The next one is in the chat room. Is that what you said?
Right, we've got 2 questions from the chat room. The first one has been patiently waiting. Dove for Peace from the chat room has been out of work for over a year and wants to know what to resolve in order to improve job situation. So, Dove for Peace, if you could
Participate.
participate and let us know if we're on track, that would be
And
great.
Jeanette, are you able to?
Yep.
Okay. So go ahead when you're ready. We're on a live radio, and we're gonna just,
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what her process is of how she gets information, but we will wait until she speaks.
Who, me?
Yes,
Yes.
I need. Do you want to do the reading
I'm
for
sorry,
her?
what do you need?
Would you like to do a
For-
reading for the woman in the chat room,
Or the
The
person
in
in the
the chat room? Otherwise,
Okay, is that the gal we were just talking to?
No.
Another
okay.
gal?
So Jen had said that the woman or the
Or the
person
person.
in the chat room asked, "I have been out of work for a year," and what was the rest of the question?
Okay.
What do I need to, and has been sending out resumes.
What does she need to do?
What does the person need to do in order
You
to
need
move
to
forward?
stop. You need to stop thinking they're going to do the rest of the process for you. You need to follow up. You need to get on. If there's something you're really specifically been putting your resumes through and the applications through, you need to be the pest that of no other pest that ever has existed for that company you want to work for.
Right,
And
okay.
you need to have a lot better self-esteem and get stronger with it. And be strong with it, because you need to back yourself up.
Okay, so as far as healing any obstacles that might be in the way?
I don't know about healing any obstacles. If there's been problems where the only obstacle I see is that there's a lot of low self-esteem existing. And you give up a little bit too easy on things. And when you put it out there, you easily forget. I mean, I'm a person that forgets things too, so I'm not insulting that. Don't get me wrong. It's just an area of focus I've had to strengthen and get better at too. But it's something that I see where you'll put the resumes in, you'll call once or twice, or you'll be a pest once or twice, 3 times, 4 times, but there's been there's been at least one specific you really wanted. You've been going for it, I think, for at least almost a year, if I'm correct.
Okay.
And it's been one that you haven't forgotten about, and they just haven't responded. But you got to keep at them. You got to send more information and keep sending them the same stuff. They'll get the point.
Okay.
And then
So
they'll find out that you are the one that they want to hire.
okay. So now, Jen, you pulled a card.
Yes, so the card that I'm using, the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms deck from Colette Baron Reed, and I got the Swan Queen reverse. So when the Swan Queen appears to challenge you, it's time to stop doubting your inner voice. Don't let your analytical mind prevent you from seeing the miracles that Spirit places in front of you. Another message the Swan Queen shows you in the mirror of your life is your fear of change. Why fear what's inevitable? Everything in life changes and transforms from one moment to the next. Holding on to the past only distorts and mangles the natural order of things.
Well, the one thing that I see that's happening inside of you is that the reason why this job issue is projected and your soul needs you to look at the sadness that you've been carrying around for a long time. And the card that came up was Heal the Ouch. It's in reverse. And it says, the card is a message urging you to make amends for any harm you've done to another. Appraise yourself honestly. How have you been selfish, greedy, or inconsiderate of others? Have you harbored resentment towards those who have harmed you in the past? Practice deep and radical forgiveness in order to be free. To know healing, you must surrender your old hurts and be anew. Forgiving yourself and loving yourself is important too. What?
I sensed that too.
Okay.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm sorry.
All right. Be
I
humble.
didn't mean to interrupt.
It's all right. Be humble and willing to admit to your weaknesses. Know that the imperfections of human personality. Walk tall as you take the path of the shaman. The wise elder is going to go into the shadows to bring the healing light to the wound. So your sadness seems to know be what's going on. If this is the case that you recognize a sadness and it feels like it's there, you can muster up the day, do what you need to do, but there is a great sadness. And they're telling me that you need to disrupt that signal. You can look at the healing tools and you can do meridian tapping, or you can go do hope therapy and do R1D. But it's a sadness.
Yes, that's also the part of it too. And I'm finished when you're done. Sorry.
Okay, so go ahead. You can go ahead and speak.
That was also what I picked up. There's a lot of pain there, and I think that's what's causing the self-esteem issue.
Mm-hmm. And
so everything you guys are saying is head on to exactly what I was saying. That's cool. I just wanted to share.
Cool. Yes. And so the person in the room says yes, that is correct.
And woman is okay.
And woman is, thank God. Okay, I just kept getting this strong sense of,
Right.
I nurture. Okay, I got it. So, all right, who's next, Jen?
Okay, so thank you, Deaf for Peace, for participating and